everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. And as Lance Russell would always say, oh boy, we've got a good one today. A lot of things going on. A lot of things going on in professional wrestling. Let's start with something that's going on right now. It's hit all the airwaves. It is everybody's talking about it, and that's MJF. I'm going to ask both of you this question, and because everybody doesn't know, so I want to get your comments on that. Work or shoot, Jack?
I think that they have let real life animosities. They've turned that into a definite work.
Rodney, work or shoot?
I did call last week. It is storyline. Yes, I did call that last week. By the way.
Okay, this is the question I have to ask. Is the interview that MJF did, was it good for AEW? Jack, I'll let you answer that one first.
No, I don't think it was, and I think that they're finding out. He was at Warner Media, I believe that they answer to. They have said something that they don't want him on any kind of programming for a while.
Wow, Rodney, what do you think? Was that? Did both of you listen to the interview? Rodney, have you heard the promo? Have you heard that, Rodney? Have you heard it?
For who?
For MJF. Have you heard?
I don't watch that show.
Well,
the answer is no. But from what I saw, no, it's not a good idea. Mr. Khan's never wrestling it. I don't think, and if he is, he's an idiot. He does. He's an idiot. He needs to stay off the TV. Anything that's.
Let me ask you this question. I'm going to ask you this question. Did they ask, and I'll ask Rodney first. Rodney, did Tony Khan and MJF get together and say, oh, go out there and just shoot? Did he tell MJF to do this?
Yes. Yes. It is. If he didn't do it, then they're just not going to let anything go off on that show.
Right.
No, it's the same with Vince McMahon. You only see what they want you to see. Vince shows you only what you want to see. Same with Khan's show. You see only what he wants you to see.
All right, Jack, I'm going to ask you this question. When he sat back there and Tony Khan said, hey, what's the guy's name? Matt? Is that his name? Whatever the MJF. Maxwell. Maxwell, I want you to go out there and I just want you to shoot. Just do this shoot. Just whatever's on your mind. Did he think to himself that he would say the things he said about Tony Khan himself? I mean, did Tony Khan couldn't have said, oh, say this about me, could he?
I bet he did. Because I think that in their minds, they were trying to outdo the infamous CM Punk pipe bomb from years ago, and they were trying to take it next level. But here's another clue: the pipe bomb was a work too. So,
I just don't get it. I don't understand it. They want people to believe something is real, but they produce a show that is so fake and comedy. Why? Why would you want, that's what people want to see. Evidently, you want to do it because it's okay if you talk bad about Tony Khan, and all of it was true. So here's the problem. When you talk about that on your television show and you think that, oh, people want to see real, then why would you produce a show that was so crappy and so, I don't even know what the word for it.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, I think you nailed it real square there is, if you're wanting to do a show that you want people to talk about, why do it in just one angle? Why don't you do your whole show that way? Not necessarily, doing those shoot interview promos, but make your whole product believable. I don't know. That used to work.
Yeah, I don't.
And we didn't have to use that kind of language to do it.
He calls now, and Rodney didn't listen to it, so I'm going to tell you what MJF said.
Oh, who is he? Go ahead.
MJF said these words that Tony Khan should be out in the crowd with the other marks, basically. And he calls them, he also says these words, what you've said before, Rodney, but this is what he says in it. He says, would I have got more money, Tony, if I would have been an ex WWE wrestler?
You see, that's why he watches this show, because he was able to get material. Yes. And I also believe that Tony Khan should be sitting in the audience more so than the camera.
I got to ask this question about Warner Media. Do they tolerate him because they're worth billions of dollars? Is because they believe at some point they might be able to go work for the Khans, the people that's over this. I mean, why would you
I
tolerate
think that's a real possibility. Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't seem. I will say this: we said something about CM Punk. He has been injured. He injured his foot, evidently. He won the title 3 days later. No, he don't even get rid of the title. I don't think. I believe he's. There's going to have what? What is it they're going to do?
An interim champion, which is the dumbest thing. They released this long deal of how they're going to go about crowning an interim champion, and my guess is that at the end of when Punk comes back, he's still going to be the champion, and then this interim champion, whoever that winds up being, I guess they're supposed to wrestle and decide who the real champion is. I don't know. It just seems very drawn out, complicated for an issue that doesn't have to be drawn out or complicated.
Because an actual foot injury, unless it's just horrible, I think he would come back from that pretty quickly, wouldn't he?
Well, from my understanding, he broke a bone. I mean, you heal up in 6 to 8 weeks tops.
Yeah.
And you should be back in there. And their pay-per-views are 3 months in between. Obviously, we have not done the title defenses within every 30 days for years for any company. That's just useless. That's a part of the past. So I don't know what the feeling is here of why we have to immediately start having, a temporary champion to fill in for the real champion until the real champion comes back, and then the temporary champion. I don't know. I'm just
Rodney. Are they putting the belt on John Moxley?
Oh, I hope not. No, Moxley doesn't need to be champion. All right, they need to be a champion that needs the belt, and Moxley has the name, so he doesn't need to be champion. They need to pick someone that has talent that they want to feature and make a star out of, and not use the same old. So no, I don't think so. I think it'd be great for him to be in the race for the title, but I don't think he should be champion.
It should Wardlow be champion.
Possible, yes.
Daniel Bryant would be a good choice, but he gets hurt a lot too.
he's out with a leg injury.
Oh,
he's re-injured himself.
All right, let's talk about Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, that thing looked horrible. That poor old dude, but he went out there and wrestled anyway. That was horrible looking thing there. Man.
But I'm going to tell you this, though. That was probably one of the best matches I've seen in WWE in years. And it's because they actually worked safe. Imagine how well two guys who actually know what they're doing that go out there and take care of each other. And here's the thing: I don't know that they ever touched the cage during this whole Hell in a Cell match. They didn't have to. They told such a good story in
there. Cody Rhodes, Rodney. How many people do you think with the pec torn from the bone could go out there and do what he did?
I have to admit he is a trooper. That is, he the show must go on. He went out there, he did it, and I think that it actually added to the match. It added to the match, and so it was kind of like it was kind of like the deal where Terry Funk broke Dusty's arm, remember, and then he loses the world title to Harley Race. Although in this match, Cody didn't lose, but it was reminiscent of that.
And let me touch on that finish real quick. I had several people messaging me about why would they bury who is it? Cody wrestled.
Seth.
Yeah, Seth. Why would they bury Seth Rollins? I said they didn't bury Seth Rollins. He said, well, he lost 3 matches in a row. I said, yeah, but they didn't bury him. And then last night on Raw, he comes out and gets more heat back than he ever had going into this.
Yeah.
So,
WWE still is the top of the world when it comes to professional wrestling. Tony Khan is going to have to learn a lot about pro wrestling to ever be able to get to that level. One thing that I saw that Tony Khan did is what's the new guy? Who was the guy from WWE that came over there, the little guy? And he's getting smaller and smaller by the day, but he beat Samoa Joe. And I'm thinking, why would you beat Samoa? Why would they have this guy? And now I can't even remember the guy's name. Adam Cole. Why would you have him beat Samoa Joe?
Adam Cole, they view him as the next big, or maybe not stature, but next big thing there. And I don't dislike Adam Cole. I've seen Adam Cole have some tremendous matches. But it's hard to take a guy seriously who it doesn't look like he goes to the gym with his wife, because she's in better shape than he is.
I think he goes by the gym. He just waves at it as he's going by. I think I don't get it unless he's sick, and we don't know anything about it. But
he's out with an injury now too, shoulder injury. So.
Oh my goodness, Rodney, Adam Cole. What's your thoughts on him? Great matches. I loved him in WWE, but I'm not a big fan in AEW.
Who?
All right, top 25 tag teams in the world.
And let me just say about what they're doing with the CM Puke and the title. They are devaluing their championship is exactly what they're doing. It should only be one champion. And this idea you can hold, you don't have to defend the belt. You can just hold on to it. You haven't even had a return match. You should have had a return match already. And he should have already surrendered it. It should have already went to tournament or top 2 contenders or what have you. There's any other way you can do it instead of some convoluted thing that Tony Khan, while he's smoking a joint with MJF or FJB or whatever, to get out there and try to figure out something about this is going to be great, isn't it there, FJB, huh? It's going to be good. I've actually had 2 hours of sleep last night. So I was not enough at work every time.
When I look at this, I'm thinking, does Tony Khan even think that stuff about his own self? I'll say this is what they're saying anyway, but it's the truth. I mean, I don't know if I'd put that on my TV show, but
let's go ahead before we get to the top 25, because a lot of people have chimed in on the subjects that we have done. By the time we get back to it, we're going to do the top 25. So let's listen to the insiders next.
All right, so here we go. Hello, everyone. Victor Nash, Richard Hood is with us. Jason Mundy, Wendy Harkins. Stay dry. Yes, it's very some raining. Glenn Allen Shelton. Hello, Al. Brian Young is with us. The wrestler. Mick Foley is even saying how great the wrestler is. So make sure you get it on Amazon. It's on sale there. Go to Amazon and get that book, Brian Young. And we've been talking to Brian Young on his podcast. Talked to I think his name was Terry Kent, and he was the commentator, ring announcer for Detroit Wrestling. He has great stories. He's done a story on him, and we're going to try to get with him, and he's going to come on our show as well to tell us some of those stories about the Sheik and
wow.
Victor Nash, Cody Rhodes out for 4 to 6 months. Oh, that's so sad. That is so sad. He gets hurt a lot, though, don't he? It's,
A lot of guys are getting hurt in this style. We've said it here many times. You're not going to keep this up forever.
No, everybody's going to be hurt. There's going to just be gurneys outside the dressing room.
And let's not forget their big huge star. In their opinion, Kenny Omega has been out since September of last year, and still no timetable for him to come back.
Wow. Welcome back, Jack, from Kevin. Mako, what on God's flat green earth is causing all? Harley Race has said that Ric Flair might have said it, but Harley Race said that a lot. Hope you're feeling better, Jack, from Wendy. MJF storyline is a work from Victor Nash. It's just not a good one. I'm just sorry. Just not a good one. Hi, guys and everyone. Good to have you back, Jack, from Rick Brooks. Kevin Penley, it's a work because they told him when the commercial was coming. This is true. Dr. Philbo Grice, hello, gentlemen. Hello to you. Joel Bateman is with us. No one can drop a pot bomb like CM Punk. Victor Nash, it was a work, but MJF overdid it. That's why when it went to commercials, CM Punk was sent out, and MJF ran the video is on YouTube. I got you. I see what you're saying. Let's see. Ben Dias, Finn is coming back. Is he talking about Finn Balor?
Well, yes. They did that angle last night.
Yeah, they threw Edge out of the his own group.
That's right. Well, they need someone to take Cody's place.
It could be true.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what it is. Cody's going to be out and to have his pectoral implants put in, and so should be all right.
Talking about that. The Freebirds, Michael Hayes, Jimmy Garvin would do commentary with Lance Russell, and they'd always say, "Look at that Lex Luger. We know he has pectoral implants. We know that. He's put abs. That's all. That's not even real." Lance Russell would go, "Now come on, guys." Oh, that was so good. Is it that how Brian Pillman got loose cannon? Yes, it's almost the same, kind of the same story that he did. They're trying to make people believe it. I mean, how can you do that when the rest of your show is crap? You want people to believe that, but you do all kinds of stupid stuff up to that point or after that. It just makes no sense to me. I don't see how Jim Ross puts up with it. Oh, well, I do too. It's many zeros that he's getting every week.
And if
Jim, we're going to do something stupid here. Take it.
And let's remember that Jim Ross used to work for the WWE, so he does get bigger checks than FJB.
This is true. They did that with the TNT title. Yes.
Yeah, I never understood it when they did it with it either.
Watched MJF will be the interim champion. They're setting up Punk versus MJF, which they already did that. And I will tell you that CM Punk, their pay-per-view rates, their pay-per-view buys have increased ever since he came back. So that is true. When he says, Tony Khan says that happened, it has, because I think the last time they did over 170,000 buys.
Now their ratings are pretty well staying 9.6.
The ratings are not any good, but their pay-per-views are some form or fashion. They are able to grow. They went from 90,000 when they did the first one, which wasn't Tony Khan. They did 90,000. Now they're doing 170,000. So they are growing their pay-per-view. I don't think I want to pay $120 a pay-per-view or whatever it is. But
it was $49.99. I was actually thinking about buying this last one, and then I saw the price, and I immediately realized I was not going to be buying
that. Cigars, as Jack has there, cigars
over violence.
Oh, there you go. So that's the thing that has to happen. There's some crazy people out there today. Victor Nash, exactly, Jack, the same way they did the TNT title with Cody, was champion but got hurt, And Sammy, I never can say that guy's name.
And Guevara. But Cody was only out like 3-4 weeks, and then he was back. So that whole thing never made sense to me.
Black Bart said CM Punk got beat up in the UFC. He should be fired.
Bill Watts would have fired him.
Yeah, he would have. He said, well, you can't even beat them guys. Mickey Mayfield, howdy everyone. My number 23, Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch, the West Texas Outlaws. Huge shout out to Cody Rhodes for wrestling with that injury. I will go ahead and say my number 23.
I want to say something just real quick. After the sledgehammer attack from Seth Rollins and Cody was able to get out, he actually limped out of the arena.
Did I miss something?
Well, his pectoral was the one that was hammered with the sledgehammer, but he was limping out the leg.
Let's see. Cody overacting. So let's.
Yeah, he was limping out like he hurt his leg.
Hey, now I limped after shoulder surgery. I limped before shoulder surgery.
I didn't know if anybody else knows that, but yeah, when he got up and he was walking out of the arena, he was limping, holding his arm and kind of limping out of there.
Well, now maybe during the whole angle,
he could have banged his knee.
Yeah, so right.
Or maybe broke his foot. Now he's going to have a pectoral and a CM Punk injury at the same time.
No, I believe Miro should be champion.
Well, very possible.
If they build him up, then all at once he just disappears.
Well, I don't believe that anybody that's from the WWE will have it, but I believe that's what will end up happening.
If
Miro was another one of those that got hurt and had to be off for a while.
When are they going to know? Don't do that stupid stuff. When are they going to grasp that? Don't do that because you're always your talent's going to get hurt all the time. I guarantee you, when Hulk Hogan was champion, they didn't put him in there with somebody that they thought he'd get hurt.
Exactly.
Because they could not take the risk of him getting hurt, and they should not have put CM Punk in a 6-man tag or whatever he was in. He didn't need to be on that Wednesday. Let's just that was stupidity on Tony Khan's part, because when he won the title, he should have just came out and did an interview and talked about it, or as promo. I'm sorry, the newer fame people. He should have done it. Went out there and promo about being champion. That's all he should have done.
Well, if they would quit doing the promos and try the interview, it might come off more real.
Glenn Allen Shelton. Well, it quit diving. Oh, AED starts might last longer. Yes, the dives, the stupid
I honestly, they're not any worse than what WWE is about those dives, though.
Yeah, I just don't. That makes no sense to me. I'm not grasping that part of the wrestling. Jason Mundy. I've never been a big fan of Coley, but I have to respect his work. My respect for him increased even more after him digging deep for wrestling with that injury. Yeah,
I'm going to say,
if we remember,
I'm going to say that that Vince McMahon and group have done an extremely good job of pushing Cody. And I think that they have featured him quite well, and it's a tragedy that he was hurt, but at least he'll look better with bigger pecs when he comes back.
Judgment Day kicked that out with Finn Balor came out. Yes.
That was a shock, and so I say good for them.
Well, I will tell you that if nothing else, just watching that lady come in and out of the ring, it's enough for me. I don't even have to watch her wrestle. I just Dusty was with his baby boy at Hell in the Cell. Yes. His dad did it with a broke foot, Glenn Allen Shelton. Oh, I'm pretty sure guys years ago, they just wrapped that booger up and went with it.
Well, they did.
I broke my heel and wrapped it up and never missed a show.
Well, you
Well,
know,
we knew many a wrestler that wrestled and was sick. Slater hurt his back, and he was working against Bob Armstrong in Columbus, Georgia, and Bob was giving him those big punches, and Slater was going over the top rope on the floor. It didn't even look like Slater was hurt. And Dad was we got in the car, and he said we thought his back was hurt. He said, yeah, it is even more now after he's done all of that. But they went out there. That was the main event, and they delivered for the fans.
Cody Rhodes salute to from Joel Bateman. Jason Mundy. Adam Cole's girlfriend is more athletic than he is. Who is his Britt Baker?
Brett Baker, yeah.
She'll
Now,
be dropping.
Adam Cole is very athletic. He just seems to be trying to work the same style of matches that Shawn Michaels was known for. So, to me, he needs to do something different to set him apart, like go to the gym.
When Brett Baker, because if he keeps on losing weight, there's going to be nothing left. He's just going to waste away, and there's going to be no, it's going to be like we think Marco Stunt's returned.
Well, I have to say, Dominic Mysterio's gaining weight. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but he has gained some weight. So what Adam Cole's losing, Dominic has found.
That's Jack. How small is too small to be believable in the ring? Kevin Penley is asking that question.
Well, here's the thing. The illusion of wrestling is, and the mindset of people, is bigger guys are stronger than smaller guys. Now, I've known plenty of smaller guys that could whoop just about any big guy. But in what we're doing in wrestling and storytelling and all, it's hard to make people believe that small guys stand a chance against bigger guys. Because when you're in here, you're both trained. Now, if it's a bar fight, that guy may not know how to do nothing but swing a pole cue. The little guy may be a black belt. So, that's the reality. But in wrestling, you're both supposed to be skilled at what you do. So, it's just a matter of believability in the fans' eyes. I don't believe a Wardlow should be selling for an Adam Cole. I just don't.
Well, as Gordon Soley always said, that every man is the same size on the mat. It's just too bad that none of the wrestlers of today know what that means.
I believe Wardlow's as tall laying down as Cole is standing up.
They didn't want to support Joe, the RH TV champion. He didn't want him in the tournament. Why? He would have been a whole lot better than Adam Cole.
That was the whole deal about pushing him and Brett Baker as being the couple of AEW.
We see how well that got over with Sammy and Tante K, whatever.
Yeah, Tay Conte.
Cody Russell with a torn pec while Punk gives up the title after stubbing his toe.
And I'm going to tell you, I bet you there was a lot of talk about that going into Sunday night. I guarantee you that was brought up.
Could have CM Punk not have wrestled one more match, wrapped that booger up, and on next Wednesday's show, lost that title to somebody.
You've made way too much sense for AEW.
I mean, come on. Is he a man or is he something else?
What did I tell you about Mr. Punk? What did I tell you about him? Okay. They give him a belt. He's not giving that thing up for nothing. Okay. He had to have a belt. They gave him one. He's not giving it up, not even with a broke foot.
That's what you get for not wearing wrestling boots.
That's right. And he could have taken his toe. He could have taped it up like Ernie Ladd's thumb and then started kicking people in the throat with it. Great.
I mean, could he not just had a 7-minute match, and then they did something to where they hurt him? Come on, something could have happened because Rampage was live, right? So couldn't they have done something on that particular show where somebody came out and he accepted the match backstage?
Can you hear this, Tony? I just can't put. I only won the belt 3 days ago. I just can't put somebody over. It's going to kill me off. I just need to hold on to this belt while I'm recuperating with my foot up on the pillow, and I'll do interviews from the house, and I'll have my belt on my shoulder there and all that.
And let me tell you what, if they're wanting to pop ratings, which where did I put the ratings? Ratings for Rampage was 482,000 last week. If they wanted to pop ratings for that show, they would have dropped that title on that show, and people would have gone, "Oh no, I can't miss that anymore."
Yeah, I don't get why they didn't do that. It just made sense to work some type of angle where he gets beat and gets screwed out of that title big time. And I just don't get it. I tried to care about MJF. Sorry, not caring. From Mickey.
Well, the proper way of doing a title change, Brent, and I hate to interrupt you at this time, was for CM Punk to handpick his own opponent, and then just have the guy he lays in the middle of the ring and he lets the guy pin him, and he's crowned his own champion. That's the proper way of doing a title change. Isn't that right? Pick your own medicine.
Or the finger poke of doom.
Yes, isn't that what Jimmy Hart did with Chick Donovan?
Yes, that was good stuff though. That was good stuff. Chick Donovan broke his leg. I legitimately broke his leg, and he just laid down. And if you'll remember, Jimmy Hart, we are family. Chicky and the Nightmares and me. Something like that. That was good stuff back in the day. Let's see. CM face palm from Joel Bateman. Sean Smith. Con was high when he thought of. Is that the thought process now? I hate that. I'm just saying. I'm not making this up. I'm just saying. Do people think he's always high or something now, Tony Khan? Because that's what you hear all the time now.
I don't know, but obviously there's no filters there. It's whatever Tony comes up with. Everybody's patting him on the back, going, "Tony, that's the greatest idea I've ever heard of."
Well, I guess when you're getting the money they're getting, except for those guys that didn't work for WWE before. And that is a true story. I mean, that's true. And I don't know why you wouldn't go on TV and say that, even in a work, because there's going to be guys in the back go, you know what? That's right. So what if all the WWE guys, they stay there, and the rest of the guys say, I'm not going to work tonight. You can do it with the WWE guys. I could see guys doing that. Tag team, the Moondogs, before Vince made them jobbers. Didn't know either. Terry Sullivan. Terry Sullivan is the guy's name. Don Garner is with us. Don, how are you doing? Glenn Allen Shelton. Happy birthday to Mick Foley. And I think today's Thunderbolt Patterson's birthday today, isn't it?
I believe so.
Thunderbolt Patterson. I always liked him. He's full. He was always full. And that's what I liked about Thunderbolt. I'm going to go ahead and say my number 23, the Nightmares, Danny Davis and Ken Wayne. Jack, number 24. Last week we didn't get your 24.
My number 24 from last week was the Soul Patrol, Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas. And my number 23 for this week are the Graham brothers, Johnny, Jerry, Eddie, and Billy.
There you go. Rodney, number 23.
Pork Chop Cash and Troy Graham.
Oh, man, they were so good.
Probably
awesome the worst tag teams. Pork Chop Cash again, that as well. And that was Pork Chop Cash and Mad Dog Boyd. Ooh, Mad Dog Boyd was not any good. I remember looking, we told Pork Chop when we finally got to Kansas City, he lived with. He said, "You could have done a whole lot better if they just put you with anybody,
just by yourself."
Yeah, but putting you with Mad Dog just didn't do you any. Charles Bellflower, Tarzan Tyler, and Luke Graham. Number 23. Glenn Allen Shelton. Would you make
Tanahashi
build up a New Japan and AEW? I don't know.
I don't think they have enough long-term agreement for him to stay over here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't think that they would want to do that. Number 24, the Assassins. Jody Hamilton, Tom Ernesto. Sorry, I missed last week. Richard Hood, another Soul Patrol. Ernie Ladd and Thunderbolt Patterson.
Yes.
Number 23. Let me tell you something, TV announcer. Don't talk me to death. Number 23, Jimmy and Johnny Valiant from Kevin Penley. Yeah, Bob Armstrong did not like Johnny Valiant. I'm telling you right now. I asked him one time about that. And he said, "You ever seen a jerk in your life? You've seen Johnny Valiant. That's the biggest jerk I've ever met." Him and Austin Idol. He put those two right there together. He did not like Austin Idol either. Number 23, the New Zealand Sheep Herders. Lord Jonathan Boyd, Luke Williams, and who was the other one? There was one other. Butch Miller. Well, Jonathan Boyd was a crazy, crazy dude. And he just pushed me one time, and I went up in the air. And I don't even think he was pushing me hard. I think he was just pushing me. And that was at the beach brawl, the first one, I believe.
That was a good time. I have to admit, that was a great time.
Number 23, Sergeant Slaughter, Darn Canoodle. If you've not seen them as a tag team, look it up. Tremendous stuff. Glenn Allen Shelton, he's got the Texas Outlaws and the Koloffs. I'm guessing Ivan and Nikita Koloff. Victor Nash, number 23, the Spoilers, 1 and 2. Now, was that Frank Morrell? And
I bet he was talking about the Florida version, Don Jardine, and I don't know who the other one was.
I don't know if who was Frank Morrell's partner in Memphis. Does anybody know? I don't remember. I just don't watch I just don't watch the two shows at all. If they're going to work something, find a better way to swerve.
There you go.
I agree. I agree. Stuart, it's number 23 from Joel Baton, the original assassin. Sean Smith says Jim Ross puts up with the pay to the order.
That's right.
Donald Owens. I would much rather catch a good indie show.
Hey, amen.
Yes. Now they do some stuff too sometimes. Oh man, do they do some stuff? They catch people on fire and I believe there needs to be a regulation. I really do. At some point, this is just getting out of hand. Sean Smith, the Dynamite after nothing or double didn't crack 1 million with Punk's champion and the FJF thing. Yes.
Almost 9.7.
Joe Bateman pay-per-view 120. I'm not saying it was 120. I don't know how much it was.
$49.99.
$49.99, which is not bad.
And it might as well have been $120 because I wouldn't spend it either amount.
Was Cody limping or pipping? And that was hey, I seen a photograph, an interview with Rob Van Dam, and if you got them, smoke them. The Godfather, tremendous. Both looked great.
Yeah,
thought they both looked great. Victor Nash, congrats to the Creed brothers, the new NXT Tag Team Champions. Have y'all seen these guys?
I have. I don't know that they're main event as far as main roster, I should say, ready yet, but they're guys have got potential.
Congrats. Do you know these Creed brothers, Rodney?
Who? I don't know.
I don't know either. I got to tell us.
What night does that show come on?
Tonight.
Oh, it comes on tonight. I'm busy doing something else. I'm sorry I won't be able to watch it.
I got to tell a quick story really real fast about the Godfather. We were promoting WWF. I believe it was WWF at the time. I don't think it was WE yet in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So we were sent to some nightclub, X-rated nightclub in town, and we was to pick his hose for the thing, and so we did. We picked out the best ones we could find in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We take them there real early in the morning. They're like at 10 o'clock in the morning. They get there at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I can't remember who it was, but I believe it was Dave Hefner. He looked at him and went, I don't think we can use these. And Dad said, what's wrong? He says, that's all I could find. It was the best they had. He said, could you maybe get on the phone and see if you can find some other ones for tonight? So he calls Terry Dykes. She runs a nightclub in Atlanta, Georgia, and she actually sends a couple of women down that they did use as part of the whole trip. They did pay the women, but did not use them at all. Did not like our picks. Never sent us again to go find the whole train for the Godfather.
Well, that's just a name. You went and actually got some, didn't you?
We went down to 23rd Street.
Y'all took it very seriously.
Yeah,
and,
we thought it was true. We were watching the show. We just thought that's what they wanted. Do you know, injure the upper part, sell the lower body makes perfect sense.
that is correct. It's the Ernie Ladd thing. You punch him in the stomach, grabs the ear. You stomp his toe, he grabs his ear. So you understand.
Oh, Ernie Ladd, I always loved him. My number 23 tag team, the Love Brothers, Hartford and Reginald. They were good. Why someone didn't take them? Because they wrestled for what was that? International Championship
Wrestling. Mm-hmm.
But they never went anywhere else, and they were really good. But didn't they have a manager?
I believe up there they did.
I was thinking they did. I don't know why they wasn't used anywhere else. I think we could. I mean, Hartford Love did come to Atlanta, but he wasn't used well. Seth limped out of the ring last night also. Was the sledgehammer strapped to his?
No, he was selling the injuries from the night before.
I thought it was his suit.
Well, I had to put drops in my eyes last
night. Champion Punk was on the bottom of the card. LOL. Underrated tag team, the Islanders. Yes. Black Bart said Cody needs another neck tattoo.
It's very possible he may get one.
Sean Smith said Cody will have bigger pecs will be on the gas. Powers of Pain from Gregory Busby. Michael is with us. Michael, how are you doing? Good to have you on here. Glenn Allen Shelton. Some AC has no muscles.
She's why.
She's why. This show is getting way off track. Probably true. Glenn Allen Shelton, where? I'm not for sure what he's asked. Dennis Mitchell. Hi, guys, from Montgomery. Do you have any good Gladys Hines, a.k.a. Spider at Montgomery Civic Center? Boy, she was something else. Well, she'd get it right in your face. The number one fan at the time, also CM Punk, I can't stand. Great show as always. Thank you, Dennis Mitchell. Well, she used to come to the matches all the time, didn't she? She was something else. Always had that same seat in Montgomery.
Can you imagine if somebody got her seat? Oh, there would be carnage.
That's true. Really no stories about her, though. She just come to the matches. She was there I believe we got there in 1983, and I believe she might have been there at the end when we left. The New Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We won't hold that against you, Greg. Hold that against you. I do like them. I just never liked their gimmick. I think they could have really been a great tag team if they wouldn't make them a joke and throwing pancakes. I think that's just how can you take someone seriously that throws pancakes to the crowd? I just don't know that I can. The night Foley was thrown, jumped off the cell. Undertaker had a broken foot.
Yep.
CM, this is not looking good for you, buddy. You might come back and you may get booed. And it might not be the boo you like. It's going to be the boo of, you know what? Guess what? He quit again. There you go. There. because he could have done it. He could have wrapped that up and waited and did a job. I mean, let's
Oh, that's a good team right there, Dudley
the
boys.
Dudley boys, yes, loved
That
it.
was great. They're great.
And that was a team you have to give Paul Heyman all the credit for. He developed them. He pushed them. Tremendous, just tremendous. Now I've heard they were the nicest people in the world.
You have to admit though, the stutter was great. The dancing was great, and the people screaming, "Let him dance! Let him dance!" That was great. That was really
Well,
really.
ECW was a pretty good show.
Bubba Ray was on, I think, the Steve Austin deal here not too long ago, and he talked about the beginnings of how he had no idea that he was even going to get used when he first went, and then they made him a Dudley, and he didn't even know what a Dudley was, and he said, "Truth be told, I don't think anybody did."
But they got that thing over.
They sure did.
You know, they did that thing so well. All of them did. Even the little guy, man, he was good. Whatever his name was, and I can't remember his name now. But man, he was good. 140 pounds, I think Adam Cole weighs, is what he said.
Oh wow!
You might be giving him 20 pounds more than he really is. I shouldn't say that. 125 pounds. None of today's bookers know what it means either, Rodney, from Victor Nash. CM Chump. Stuart Kemp. You talk smaller guys, Nightmare Danny Davis, Bill Dundee, Adrian Street. I don't think anyone would dare mess with either of them. They were smaller guys, but they were thick.
Yep, they were in shape and they could go and they were believable. And that's what's missing. When you compare a Danny Davis to or Bill Dundee or Adrian to an Adam Cole now, I mean, there's just a world of difference in them.
Yeah. Yeah, Scott Armstrong. But man, Scott could go out there and work. And he did work out and he was in shape. You know, it's just I just don't know why he's not working out. CM Punk is a Cujo. Chunky crybaby.
Right.
Where is Braun Strowman and the Wyatt family? Boy, he's ripped now at Braun Strowman.
He's on that. Him and that other guy, EC3, have that new promotion, Control Your Narrative, which I'm not sure that Control Your Narrative equates to buy tickets.
It was Dynamite, not Rampage. But I thought CM told about his belt being that he wouldn't have his belt on Rampage, right?
Yes.
But he got hurt on
Dynamite. Got hurt on Dynamite, and then 2 days later on Rampage is when he gave up the belt, or tried to give up the belt, but announced that he was going to be out for a while.
Before he did that, he could have lost that title. I just don't get it. When is Rodney defending the belt behind him?
Well, I hurt my pinky last week, and so it may be 4, 5, 6 years before I'll be able to defend again.
Those hangnails are terrible.
It's just awful. This one.
We were going to recreate the finger point of Book of Doom, but for me to take that fall, I have to do it in stages, and there has to be a hoist involved.
What happened to Matt Morgan?
Logistics.
What happened?
Matt Morgan lives in Florida and is a part of the city council in the city that he lives in now.
Wow.
He does an appearance every great now and then at some of these fan fest things, but other than that, he has the rest.
All right, Matt Morgan. I'm trying to think about what he did.
He was mostly known in Impact Wrestling. Now he was pretty good. He's 6'8", somewhere in there. Great physique. He's pretty good.
All right, Victor Nash is throwing up names. I have no clue. It's like talking to me about country music.
Carmelo Hayes,
the new 2-time NXT. Who is this? I'm not for sure.
He's one of their guys. He's not bad. I'm not sure he's a main roster guy, but he's pretty good there.
Whatever Riddle is taking, Tony Khan must be taking the same thing.
I will say I like the more serious tone that they gave Riddle last night. He had a very good interview.
Glenn Allen Shelton, he was doing a podcast. Who were we talking about that was doing a podcast? I know that Road Dogg's doing a podcast now.
Oh,
and
you didn't know?
I think it is number one.
Yeah.
Incredible, number one. So if you've not watched it, go over there and watch it. Even though he doesn't need us to say that because he's doing number one. Maybe he needs to tell about ours. The Sheep Herders, the National Wrestling Alliance from Greg. Yes. I even liked them as I always liked the Bushwhackers. I thought that was a good gimmick, and it fit them for the time. They were both getting a little older, so that just fit them tremendously.
It was just such a drastic change from the Sheep Herders, who was all blood and guts, to the Bushwhackers, who was totally a kid's type gimmick.
Yeah,
but I thought it was brilliant.
Midnight Express. He put the Midnight Express in that. Number 22 from Richard Hood, Terry Gordy, and Dr. Death Steve Williams. The Rock and Roll Express, yes, they're going to be in a top tag team, no doubt. Kevin Bentley, I won't be here next week. My number 22, Chief Wally McDaniel and Tommy Rich. Oh, they did some good stuff. Tommy knew, here's the thing, Tommy knew his role in that match. He knew that he was going to take the butt whipping and Wally McDaniel was going to come in and whip some tail. He understood that. Guys don't understand that anymore in wrestling. They want to make the comeback. They want to do the tag. They want to come back in. They don't want to. They don't want to make
the match in Cadillacs they won.
Yeah,
yeah. I remember. I was there when that happened.
Oh, great stuff. Just great stuff. There's no Wahoo McDaniel left. I can guarantee you. Yes, the Florida version, Rodney. Florida version of the spoilers. Ron Simmons and JBL. What were they called?
Acolytes.
Yeah. APA.
Yeah. APA.
Acolyte Protection Agency.
I had the luxury of seeing Hayes and Gordy versus the Hardys work each other back in 2000. I like to have seen that. That was a pretty good match. From Clinton Bashore. Glenn Allen Shelton now said now. He said, where now? Didn't he? And wasn't he the one that said where a few minutes ago? I think he was. Killer Carr, Cox, and Jimmy Garvin. Never knew they was a tag team. Florida, probably, or Louisiana. Maybe Louisiana. Richard Hood, Butch Reed, and Sweet Brown Sugar, number 21. That would have been Florida, wouldn't it?
I believe so.
From Richard Hood. Demolition Axe and Smash on my list. I just never got into the Demolitions. There's just something about them I just didn't like. I love Bill Eadie as the Master Superstar. I love Crusher Khrushchev. I love that, but I just never got into the Demolition gimmick. Gregory, Edge and Christian. Yeah, tremendous. Sean Smith said they had good looking hoes. No, they didn't for your information. You had to go to Atlanta to get them. Gregory, Doom.
That was what he was talking about, the hoes in Chattanooga. I think's what he was saying there. They're all doomed.
The Godfather said someone called him the Forrest Gump of wrestling because all the behind-the-scenes shows ask him what happened. Victor Nash, become a subscriber today. Yes, become a subscriber today. And that's very easy to do. You just subscribe. We have people, and next week we have people who have helped us and supported our channel for over a year. And we want to thank you so much. And we're going to bring that. But you can subscribe on YouTube. It's absolutely free, or you can become a supporter, support what we're doing on our Facebook page. Anita is with us. Anita, how are you doing? Paul is with us as well. Beautiful Bruce Swayze. Yes, that is who. Yes,
beautiful Bruce. Tell Oli call me. Tell Oli to call me. Ronnie, tell Oli call me.
For those of you that don't know the story, They were World Championship Wrestling was doing the developmental towns, and they were running in Kentucky somewhere, and I can't remember where it was at in Kentucky now, but Bruce Swayze ran a rubber band factory in this Kentucky town, and so he went by to see him. Dad and Rodney went by to see him at this rubber band factory, and they talked about what they could do to run some towns together and stuff. And that was the reason they went there to talk. It's about running some towns and developmental towns in that area. And Rodney said,
Yes, that is all the entire time we would talk about. Dad would talk about, okay, we're going to run these towns and we'll get this town. Well, tell Ole call me. Tell Ole call me. He said, well, we could do this probably. Let's try maybe putting together maybe an entire weekend of shows. Maybe start Thursday and go through Sunday. He said, well, that'll be fine, but have Ole call me. Have Ole call me about that. Just tell Ole, give me my number. Have him call me. He said, the sun's shining. He said, well, we'll need to, if you'll just let Ole call me about the sun shining, we'll get that on. It was... At a certain point, I finally said, why does Ole have to be involved? I just want Ole to call me.
I don't even think Ole was booking at the time. I think Bill Watts was handling Dusty Rhodes. Tommy Rich and Rick Martel, number 20. What about Cody? You haven't heard? Cody is hurt. 4 to 6 months out. Rodney says he'll come back pectoral implants.
That's right. Pectoral implants.
What he said. That might be what's wrong with Lex Luger today. He had them pectoral implants. Maybe Jimmy Garber and Michael Hayes knew what they were talking about. And they messed him up for...
Well, I think that after he didn't pay the bill, they repossessed him.
Oh, man. Pro Wrestling Tees. Y'all go to Pro Wrestling Tees and you can get your Pro Wrestling T-shirts. Victor is good for us because we don't, even if we ever wrote down, we forget about it. Pro Wrestling Tees. Get over there and get you a T-shirt. Tommy Rich and Tony Atlas is on his list. Reggie Love was a judge at the first Miss Nude World Contest, which was held at the Four Seasons Nature Park in Freelanton, Ontario. The year was 1972. Reggie gave a classic interview on Channel 9 News from Toronto. Now, that's the kind of information that we need. That right there. I would love to see that. I wonder if that's available somewhere. Miss Nude World Contest. I didn't even know such thing existed in life. Maybe we need to move to Canada since they have that guy. Spike Dudley. Yes, Spike Dudley. I liked him. Thought he was great. Did they turn Edge back babyface too fast? Is there not another baby that can draw as much as Edge? What do y'all think?
I think it was fast, but I also think that they painted themselves into a corner. They have fired half their roster.
Rodney?
It was either Edge turning or Corey Graves coming out of retirement. I would have Edge turning.
Let's go with Edge.
We're going through all Richard Hood. He wants to get all his stuff in. Ric Flair, Greg Valentine on 18, number 18. The Moon.
We're doing this every week, Richard. Hold on.
The New Age Outlaws from Gregory. Luke. Clinton said Luke and Butch gave me a beer bath when I was 14. David Schultz and Dennis. Great tag team. Could have drew a lot of money in Georgia. Just don't understand why they didn't bring them to Georgia.
Ole didn't like David Schultz.
Sorry, guys. I worked late. My 48 is the new breed.
Now, if David might have called Ole, he might have been able to get booked, but Ole didn't like him. And so I don't think that even if David called him, that he would even booked him.
I always liked the new breed. We were
Yes.
wanting to bring them into Continental Championship Wrestling. Even called them and talked to them and got them ready to
Yep.
come in. And I don't know what happened. I think Robert Fuller took over the booking or something. And Chris Champion, Sean Royal didn't get to come in because we liked them. We thought we could draw a little bit of money with them, and I think they would have drew in Alabama. Florida around 78 is what Michael's saying. The Hardys, yes, Demolition was the WWF knockoff of the Road Warriors. Maybe that's the reason I didn't like them, Victor. Maybe that's the reason I just seen something was there. Killer Cox, the man that loved to wear pink underwear with a 38 in the waistband locker room to scare green. He was a character. Cox was a character. There's no doubt that. I think Dick Murdoch got a lot of his stuff from Cox. I believe the Love Brothers also worked Detroit. Rick Brooks, are you sure Cody isn't just a makeup? Is it just a makeup job? I don't think so.
No, that's a joke because that was all over the internet about smart wrestling fans on their message boards saying, "Oh, that's just makeup."
Well,
they were talking about his face, not his pectoral area.
It looked like it changed. His makeup changed throughout the match, though. I noticed that. It's like it was more red and blotchy in some spots during the match. So it was great makeup.
I did see one meme that was really funny. I compared him to Dusty. Dusty had that splotch on his side. And there was Cody with that big one and said, "There's Cody out doing his dad."
No way WWE was going to let the Sheep Brothers do their NWA violence gimmick. Cornette said Condrey Eaton tried to cover their scars when they went to Connecticut to meet with Vince. McMahon saw the scars and said, "Oh, we don't do that here." Yes. Smash thumbs up button, everyone. Ho! Jim Duggan going through some bad times as well. And Dave Hefner, I understand, is going through some bad.
Yeah, he looked bad.
Yeah, so let's pray for both of them that they because Dave does not look good at all. Why did Ole not like David Schultz and David would beat Ole up in a street fight? That would be a heck of a fight between because both pretty mean and both knew how to wrestle. So I don't know how that would have worked out. I believe that would just have to be a pull apart. I don't believe nobody would have won that one. The Hart Foundation, yes, Wyndham and Rotunda in the 80s, because he was Mike Rotunda at some point, and then it changed to Rotundo. I guess his real name was Rotunda, wasn't it? Isn't it with the A?
I believe so.
So maybe that's the reason. All right, guys, it's a time for us. We're a little over time, but it's time for us to leave. Rodney, anything you want to talk about before we leave?
No, I believe I got it all taken care of.
The USA Express. Was that the name of them?
Yep.
Cody and Seth in a Texas Hilltop match with Cody's return. Maybe. Who knows what they're going to do in wrestling today?
Before we go, PBS has a new documentary. I haven't watched it yet. I just read about it a little while ago. It came on Saturday, but it's on demand now for PBS. Head Over Heels, Remembering Wrestling at the Chase. New documentary to have on that. As soon as we get done here, I'm going to go in here and watch it.
Victor Nash asked this question. Do you think Seth wearing polka dots the match disrespectful? No.
It drew heat. That's what it was supposed to do.
Yeah. I don't think it. I think it's that. Remember, Dusty Rhodes made the polka dots work even when WWF didn't think he could make it work, and he did make it work because, as Dusty told me one day, nobody had got Dusty Rhodes over but Dusty Rhodes, and he knew that, and he did get him over. Eddie Graham helped him a little bit, but Jack, anything else you want to talk about?
That's it.
All right, folks, we'll see everybody next week right here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. Good night, guys. I'll be on next time. I even stay and help take down the ring.
Excellent.
We have been told that before, and people just walk out and leave, and we're having to carry the ring out, which a lot of times we had to. So we take the ring, run the concession. Dad would referee, sometimes do the ring announcing. Rodney would sell some tickets, tear the tickets, and seat the people all at one night. We'll see everybody next week.
And next week.
Yeah, next week. All right, we'll just go ahead and leave. We'll see everybody next week.